I didn't know at the time, I knew nothing about Korea, really. My imagination as this place.
오늘 영상은 스탠퍼드의 교수이자 한국학 학자인 다프나 주루 교수의 강의입니다. 다프나 주루 교수는 스탠퍼드 대학교 동아시아 언어 문화학부 교수이자 미국 한글학당 숲속의 호수 학장이기도 한데요. 미국에서도 손꼽히는 명문대인 스탠퍼드 학생들에게 한국에 대해 배워야 한다. 한국 문화가 이토록 전 세계적으로 성공한 이유에 대해 고민해보라는 과제를 내줬다고 합니다. 지금부터 전해드릴 영상 역시 스탠퍼드 학생들을 대상으로 진행한 다프나 주루 교수의 강의입니다. 한류가 유행하기 전부터 한국과 한국 문화에 깊은 애정을 갖고 고민해온 그녀의 심도 깊은 강의, 지금부터 함께 해보시죠.
Okay, I'm going to be talking today about Korean popular culture. This talk, we will cover all of these different aspects. Korean popular culture, defining what that is, technology, soft power, and a little bit about the globalization of this phenomenon and what the future directions of it might be. By telling you a little bit about my own personal story. When I was growing up I grew up in New York and in Jerusalem, and when I was growing up in the early 80s, it was the time of a boom of martial arts films. It was sent to because it was the one that was most convenient to attend because it was in my neighborhood, was Taekwondo. I didn't know at the time, I knew nothing about Korea really, and I didn't know that Taekwondo was even Korean, but when I started practicing Taekwondo, I started learning how to count, I learned the names of the kicks, and so Korea sort of entered my imagination as this place where Taekwondo was developed. And after I finished high school, I attended I did my military service in Israel. And I decided before I went to college that I wanted to go and do Taekwondo in Korea. And so you see on this slide, this first slide, that is the Korea that I entered when I didn't know anything about Korea. As I said, the only thing I knew how to do was to count, and I had a few words that I learned, a few words of greetings. But I arrived one wintry day in 1993 in December. And what I remember was just how bright the lights were at night. And I also remember all the many neon crosses that I passed along the way driving through downtown Seoul. So it was really kind of my first encounter with Korea was one that I didn't expect at all. Soft power is a really, really powerful one. It is a way for nations like Korea to draw in interest from people from all over the world that can turn into a lifelong dedication, lifelong devotion, and interest and investment in learning things about Korea. So when we talk about soft power today, of course, we talk about K-pop and how everyone now knows what Korea is. And you go to BTS concerts and they're speaking in Korean, and people are learning Korean using different websites like Talk to Me in Korean. But the original form of soft power, I believe, was martial arts. That is what got many of us interested, those of us who are not heritage speakers or heritage learners. That's what got many of us interested in Korea to begin with. So martial arts is the original soft power. Most recently, I was invited to SM Entertainment, one of the the pioneer corporation entertainment company, to really kind of brand K-pop and give us sort of the Korean popular culture form as we know it. Really interesting, super fun time talking to all these celebrities, and it got me thinking more and more about what K-pop is and what in which direction it's going in right now. Students to think about what Korean popular culture includes. And usually people will say, it's girl and boy bands like BTS. But there are other forms of popular culture that we are immersed in these days from Korea. One of them is, as I said, sports, Taekwondo, but also many of today's golfers are Korean. I mean, golf isn't Korean per se, but it's, there are so many great Korean golfers today in the world of sports, short track skaters as well. Korea really dominates also archery, so it's really interesting to think about Korean sports. Both Korean food is a very popular form of culture, cosmetics, and Korean dramas, of course, are widely available. Squid Game, of course, was the recent big hit. Maybe some of our younger viewers haven't seen it. It's very, very violent, but hugely popular, as well as dramas like Crash Landing on You. Netflix is a very important platform for streaming Korean dramas, as are Hulu and other streaming. What I want to discuss is the term soft power. Power is changing in world politics. In other words, power is that which makes it possible for you to make other countries do what you want. Rather than using brute force, military force, today, he observes, there are new forms of power that can be leveraged that are included in technology and communications. Now remember, this is in 1990, this is before the internet. So Joseph Nye is anticipating that traditional forms of power, military, economic power, are being supplanted, replaced by new forms of power that are not military. They're not, where he comes out with this term soft power. And as I said, it is soft power is no longer using force, military and economic means of making other countries change their minds, but using culture and using technology and communication to do that in a much more effective way. About Korean culture, and the reason that students like you are listening to this lecture, it's because South Korea has done something really remarkable over the last 20 years. It has managed to produce, it's a small country by comparison, but it's managed to produce some of the most compelling, high quality culture, popular culture in the world. So one of the really tremendous achievements of South Korea over the last 20 years is that it has become the major producer of youth culture in the world. If you think about, Korea as not, it's has one of the biggest economies in the world, but the fact that Korea produces so much of the youth culture that is being consumed around the world today globally, in North America, South America, all over Asia, all over Europe, in Africa. I mean, this is, in Australia, South Korea has really made this remarkable inroads using South Korea, managed to pull this off. And, the reason for that question is both, we're curious, how this has happened, but also a lot of countries want to know what is the secret to this success and can it be replicated? So that's one of the questions I want to, try and tackle today.
소프트 파워로 세상을 바꾼 한국의 저력을 다시 한번 실감하게 된 내용이었습니다. 여러분께서는 어떻게 보셨나요? 스탠퍼드와 하버드는 물론이고 전 세계 이름난 학교들이 한국학과를 신설하고 석박사 과정을 밟는 학생들도 늘어나고 있다는 요즘인데요. 그만큼 대한민국의 위상이 드높아진 게 아닌가 싶습니다. 오늘 이야기도 재밌게 보셨다면 좋아요와 구독 부탁드리겠습니다. 감사합니다.